What's going on, everyone out there in the comic collecting and toy collecting and video game collecting and card collecting universe? This is your host, Lawrence, over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and I am bored out of my mind on a Sunday afternoon. Now, normally I'd be watching some football. I'm a big football fan, but I'm kind of footballed out. My team is garbage, so I've officially renounced them as my team until until I till something changes. Let's put it that way. So I'm bored out of my mind. Figured I'd come on and see if anybody wanted to chat, talk comics, talk collectibles, talk anything really, because I have no agenda. Just bored. Figured I'd waste some time. Come on here. See who's out there. And I'm probably going to get nobody watching this stream live because of that, but that's just fine. So here, I actually went to a comic show this morning, a monthly comic show that goes on in my area. It's called the Clifton Comic Show. They rotate locations. I know a bunch of other YouTubers go there once in a while. Today was absolutely dead. I was shocked to see how few people were there set up, and I was shocked to see how few people were there shopping for comic books. I don't know if anything to do with it being December. People got a million other holiday things going on, but it was dead. There were some monster books there, believe it or not. There was one vendor there who had a Tech 31, a .5 blue label Tech 31 that he brought to the show. Had some other great books as well. It was probably the biggest vendor there. Was asking $50K for that book. Totally worth it. But it was. I'm happy to see somebody bring a book like that to a show, especially a smaller show. But the Clifton show is pretty good. Back in the day, it was always hopping, and you could always find what you were looking for. Today was a little bit of a crapshoot. There were some bigger books there, but a lot of smaller things. I was not really looking for anything. You guys know I'm not really looking to buy too much, but I was looking for a couple of dollar books, to be honest with you, because I actually own two pieces of original art. I actually put out a short last night about the two pieces that I own. One being from Amazing Spider-Man number 13 during that John Romita Jr. Scott Hanna run. I have a page out of that book, and I was looking to find that book and just keep it in the collection because I thought it'd be cool to match the art with the actual book, but I could not find that one. But the other one I was able to find, and I'm going to show you guys that here today. So it is actually a copy of Spectacular Spider-Man number 247. The art is done by Luke Ross. Now, I don't have the cover, but I do have one of the interior pages that Luke Ross did, which is absolutely beautiful, featuring the jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to go ahead and show you that what it looks like. The original art itself is really beautiful, but the page itself in the book, the original art, in my opinion, is better. So I actually prefer that as well. So here's the page of the book, this one right here. But it's got that great Spider-Man jack-o'-lantern, part of it, block that I love of them talking. So I actually own the original art for this book. So I love Luke Ross's Spider-Man. I think he's one of the more modern artists that I enjoy the way he draws Spider-Man. And I said in the short that he kind of reminds me of that Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane, even Mark Bagley to a little bit extent, the way they drew Spider-Man. So I've always appreciated his artwork. So I own that page, and I thought it'd be cool to match up the page with the book. So I got this for $1, and I actually took the time to search it out, and I was shocked that they had it. Not worth anything, the book itself, but the other one is Amazing Spider-Man 13 issue number 13. I have page number 9. It's story page number 9. So I just thought it was cool. Thought I'd show you guys that I'd picked that up. I'm not a huge original art collector, only because of the amount of money that it costs, but it is very rewarding, in my opinion, if you can find a page that you really enjoy the artwork, or you find a page that you really enjoy the artist that you're buying. I bought one other thing, which I thought was pretty cool, and I hate buying these things, but I hate treasuries. But when I saw this Detective Comics 27 Treasury Edition, I thought maybe it would be a cool video to kind of flip through this book and show you guys the pages, the story. Can't do that with original, of course, and I don't think the reprint at times lends justice to it, like the regular comic size reprint. So I figured that might be a cool video to show you guys. I believe this book was printed in the 70s. Let's go ahead and look and see when this one was printed. But this is big enough where I can actually show you guys the pages and go through it. And thought that'd be a cool video. Something different than I normally do. But really, really cool. Wow. So let's see. Does it have a date on this? It says copyright 1939, but I know that that's not this. Oh, so wait a minute. The guy had this. This is the cover. I did not know that. But regardless, I like the cover better of Tech 27. Had I had known that, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But see, I don't know everything, but this is pretty cool regardless. To see Batman at first appear on the pages. Very, very cool. I'll check up on the chat in a minute. I know we don't have we have 10 people in here. I'm just trying to find out when this is published, but I don't see it on here. Thought it'd be on the interior part of the book, but it is not. There you go, 1974. So 1974, this was published. Either way, pretty cool. $20. So I wasn't spending more than that because these things aren't like worth anything. But if you can find an issue like this, that's an important issue for $20 that you'd like to take a gander at, especially if me doing YouTube, maybe other collectors would like to see, flip through the book and look at a story. You could do that in a regular reprint, but I do think that doing it on a treasury might be some fun only because of the size. Now, of course, I'll never get this thing back in the bag. There we go. But either way, let me catch up on the chat. I do have a couple of things I want to show you guys that I've picked up along the way. But we have Mills Skills Go Birds. I'm assuming he means the Eagles. Ricky Camacho, good morning. It's 1:45 a.m. in the Philippines. I'm going to ask you, why are you still up? It's late. Red Scorpion 75, afternoon, first live of yours for me. Welcome aboard, my man. Like I said, this is just no agenda today. If anybody wants to hop on it and talk a little bit, I'm all for it as long as your sound is good. Gary Hahn, man, would you love to watch, but heading into church, have a great time. Say a prayer for me, brother. Jeffrey Fonzo, what's going on? Happy Sunday to you, Jeffrey. Shattered Comics. I have a print page plate from that Trezzy. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. You are not the person that does the Shattered Comics, are you? I've seen you at a bunch of shows, if so. Fatal 007. Show is the goods. What is going on? Red Scorpion 75. The gem of my collection is my full pit run, including his first appearance in Malibu and all his crossover appearances. Very cool. Morning, boss. J-Bar 74. How are you guys? Show us the goods. What do you want to see, Fatal 007? You tell me. What do you want to see? I can show you whatever you want. You want to see something in my collection? I actually thought about going live from my phone and just kind of going around my room, but I thought with the mic, not having a good mic to walk around, I didn't think it would be a good thing. You are? Wow. Very big fan of your work, man. I see you every year at New York Comic Con. Awesome. Great to meet you. Flattered that you're watching my channel. Awesome work. I remember the one year I came up to the booth and when you guys had the I think it was the AA-15 one that you did, and I asked how much it was, but it was way out of my budget. I'm retired. Why not? Enjoy yourself, my man. I can't wait to be retired. Matt, I'm Lawrence. Nice to meet you, brother. Hopefully I get to meet you soon at the next show. Do you think comic prices are dropping due to the popularity of cards? That's a great question, and I'll answer whatever questions you guys want. If I can. I don't have all the answers, guys. I just go by what I see. But to answer this thing, I just think, and I said this recently on the down report that I did, and shout out to Swaggelhaus because he put out the video before me, but I was already like halfway through doing my portion of it, and I reached out to him just to say, hey, just letting you know that I was planning on doing the same thing. So if you don't want me to put it out, I won't. But he was like, no, no, go ahead. So he's such a good dude. But I said it in that report that I think the more books that get graded by CGC, especially Bronze Age stuff, Silver Age especially, and Copper Age too, the more prices are going to drop. When I go to a show, and I went to a show this morning, albeit a small show, and I see multiple copies of the same book around the same grade, that's to me like, unless you're really fairly priced and unless you're really looking for that book specifically, I'm going to say to the collector, why are you buying it, right? Because you're going to try to get the best deal that you possibly can on anything that you buy. So with that said, um, that made me think of why I started shifting gears in my collection. Is that I just think it's with grading companies being where they are and the fact that everybody is grading their books, you're seeing more copies out there on the census. It's getting harder and harder to find copies of books in the raw form, especially in the Silver Age. Not so much bronze, and definitely not copper. But I don't think it has anything to do with cards. I think cards is its own separate entity. I actually, believe it or not, before I hit up the Clifton show this morning, I went to a local card show. I stopped there. I was in and out within 15 minutes. It was a local show at a local high school by me. I've gone before, and they've had like Garbage Pail Kids, but most of it is sports collectible cards. They had some really great stuff from vintage to newer cards that have come out. So if anybody hasn't checked out, I don't know the name of the show, but it's at the Midland Park High School in Bergen County, New Jersey. It wasn't crazy packed either. Definitely people there, but just like the comic show, a lot less people there and a lot less vendors than I normally see. And I don't know why that's the case. So I don't want to speculate that has to do with the market. I think, it's December 8th or whatever the hell we are now. So I think that may have a point to do with it. But Zap Comics is usually at that show. For some reason they weren't this month. Don't know why. They just had their big sale last month, so maybe the inventory is not prepped that they would take to the show. I don't know, but again, I don't want to say it was a disappointment because it wasn't, but it was. I was just shocked to see not many dealers there. Thank you, brother. Sports Card Dad, what's going on, bud? About to watch football, but we'll catch the rest on the replay. Again, I appreciate that, and I also watch both of your channels as well. So we need to see you put out some more comic stuff. I haven't seen you put out a comic video in quite a bit. So definitely a big fan of his channel as well. If you guys are not following him either on the comic side or on the sports card side, make sure you do so. He's always putting out some great stuff. Red Scorpion 75 says, I hate slabs. I've been collecting since 79 and I read everything I buy. I think a lot of collectors feel the way, especially if you're old school. I don't have a problem with slabs. I I just don't want to spend the money. And I've said this before, but I do understand that it's a business and that people want equity in their books. If they can find a good deal on a row book and then they submit it and get, equity by getting a higher grade, that it's worth it for them to do so. Is it me or is it my camera off? Regardless, I don't hate slabs. You guys can see I have some slabs, but the majority of my Spider-Man run is raw because I do like flipping through it. And like I said, I don't want to just spend the money on it. Darth Lopez, what's going on? Bills over Rams 31-19. F the Bills, brother. I'm a Jets fan, even though I just told you I renounced my fandom. But yeah, I believe the Bills should win that game regardless. Jeffrey Fonzo, I think the time of year might have something to do with the show traffic at the show. Lots of people buying presents for family over buying comics cards. Yeah, 100%. It's also Sunday here, so where I live, like most of the stores are closed outside of restaurants, food shops, stuff like that. So I was just usually I thought the December show for the Clifton Comic Show was supposed to be the biggest there was of the year, and that's when most of the people go and all the big vendors go. But maybe I'm wrong. Ricky says, I hope you start doing modern stuff. So I put out a post, and that's what he's referring to about me covering some modern books. I asked if people would like me to start covering them. I'm not a huge modern person, but if it's something you guys want to see and you guys will watch it, I don't mind doing it, right? Because I'm not that knowledgeable, but I need to be more knowledgeable, and that's why I thought I should start doing something along those lines. But I don't want to do like a hot 10 list for modern. I do too many lists as it is, and I think even though a lot of people like the list, and I think a lot of people cover those modern lists anyway, so I don't want to be repetitive, but if you go check out that post, right now it's like 60-40, me do it versus me not do it. So I think for me to do it, we got to get more to like 75-25. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do a test video and see if you guys like it. The concept of slabs revolves around reselling, and he's 100% right. And it revolves around, you know, money, value. Assigning grade is all it is about value. It's not about anything else, right? It's about people. There is an aspect of people wanting to feel safe buying a book, right? That's why people buy slabs. Like, all right, this book is a so and so grade. There's no restoration. I'm getting what I'm buying. That's the thought process. That's not always the case, but that's the whole thing. So if you're a reseller or if you want to buy a book and you want to have a certain comfort level about owning a book, that's why you're buying a slab. Sometimes some people think it also is easier to just display them, and like me, I display my stuff, so certain aspects does make it easier. But I've done videos on my channel where you can display raw books in a way where they won't get damaged. I have a big um, thing here for my raw books. Jeffrey Fonzo says, Darth, I'd like to see that since I have Buffalo plus 3.5 points in a parlay today. I mean, Buffalo's a better team, right? I don't think it's close. But, Sean McVay is one of the better coaches in the league, so you never know what's going to happen. Turnovers are the name of the game today in that game. Strangely, I've shifted from buying habits this year, and I've been picking up a lot of harder to find modern books. So, Jeff, what books are we talking about? I got to be honest, if you're looking for a specific book, the one thing I found today looking for that book is that it wasn't about value. It was just finding a specific book at a show, and it was really hard. I found 1 out of 2, and it was just by dumb luck because most of the modern books, I got to be honest, if you're digging through short boxes, a lot of these guys had nothing in order. So I was just digging furiously looking for like a diamond in the rough, and I happened to find one of them. That kills me, going to a show and going through a short box or a long box and not having anything in order or having nothing labeled. It's almost like when I see that and I'm like, oh, I can't even do it. I have zero patience. So Ricky, what do you mean by the top 3? Like top 3 selling books of the week or something like that? Is that what you mean? Like top 3 selling books each week? I could actually might be able to do something like that because my LCS, Zap Comics, does their own weekly, like, hot books of the week with the most sales, and they do a phenomenal job with it. So I could actually use their data to provide it. They don't do much on YouTube. They do have a YouTube channel, but I'd have to ask them about that. And of course, I'd maybe promote them by doing that. I would love to do that because they're a bunch of great guys. Dan SPL, what's going on, brother? I use those old plastic hard sleeves like they use for cards. They are getting to harder to find. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think I have a bunch of them. I actually like those too. But they are harder to find. Believe it or not, you can find them at some of the smaller shows, comic shows that you go to. There's always somebody set up that's selling, like, storage options at shows. I know I didn't think I remember seeing them at New York Comic Con this year, but I think Terrificon when I went this year, they had a table set up. I don't remember their outfit, but there's always somebody selling bags and boards. What you're talking about, I forget what they're called. They're called something, but I forget what they're called. They're always selling those type of things. BCW might have them, so check them out. I would say check Amazon first because they're always going to be cheaper, but BCW may have sleeves like that. I don't know how much they cost though. All right, Ricky, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you for the idea. I'm still searching for all 80s Madball comics. I would like to find all 80s Madballs, like the original balls. They got to be. I would think they're got to be expensive though, right? Let's see if I can find it while I got you on here. If I could go on eBay and find Madballs. But I'm going to show, while we're doing that, I'm also going to show you what else I picked up. Over the past like couple months, because I don't really do like haul videos and shit anymore because nobody watches them. Like, I don't think it's funny because back in 2020, 21, 22, that's all people were looking for were like haul videos and shit like that. You know what I thought about doing? I thought about doing a video about 30% price variance that the Key Collector app had. So here you could see Mad Balls. Look at the price. Mad Balls garbage complete collection, very rare, $3,000. Holy shit! We gotta find the ones back then. Look at this, vintage Mad Ball AFA 85 Series One Hornhead, $1,900. Let's take a look at this. This is wild. You could see all the Series One Mad Balls. I remember having this mummy, dude. Holy shit, man. Some of these are absolutely wild and incredibly expensive, but that's cool. I love the 80s, man. Still the best time of my life. Jeffrey says specifically some J. Scott Campbell, Adam Hughes, and Alex Ross covers have been waiting for Hughes Pop Kill 4's Kickstarter to come to the marketplace for a decent price. The place I was at today, they actually, when I was digging through stuff, they had a lot of Alex Ross covers. Not so much J. Scott Campbell. Most of the stuff I find for J. Scott Campbell is on the wall. Mr. Mighty, a lot of content being done on modern variants. I know. That's why I don't want to dip my toes too much in that, because there's so many people out there doing content on moderns. But I think Ricky made a good thing. If I could find, like I said, my LCS does a great job of top selling books for them for the week. If they're okay with it, maybe I could take their top 3 selling books for their shop and just talk about those books a little bit. I don't know. It's something, an ideas to play around with. Anyone collecting Canadian price variants? There's a lot of people who do, because they're a lot harder to find. I don't know if we only have like 9 people in the chat because it's Sunday. It's 1:00. I didn't like prep for this thing. I just wanted to come on and just BS with you guys. But I know a lot of people do. It's more expensive. Some of them, 100% on the keys, especially. I know, man. They're hard. I see that. They're especially like sealed. You could probably find ones that have been abused for cheap. Do you sell on Whatnot? So when Whatnot first came about, they asked me to do like a show type of thing, and I did it because I bought like a 5 short box collection of moderns, and I just blew it out there just to see, how I could do on the app. And I like the app itself. There's a lot of drama surrounding the Whatnot app, but I don't have books to sell. I was approached at one point to be on their platform, and they said they'd supply the books, but I declined. But I was wondering if I should not have declined. But it all depends on what they're going to do for me. I'm not gonna waste time selling a Whatnot my books. I don't have any books to sell anymore. I've sold everything that I could sell. But if they want to provide me with the books and pay me to do so, I'm open to you know, all ideas at this point. As long as it's not something that, out of my character. If it's something that's not okay, I won't do it. Dan says he has the Pop Kill fantastic cover. Try finding those old Stretch Armstrongs. I know one of them is worth some money. Dude, I know a lot of them were like beat to hell. If you could find them, still in the box, I'm sure they're worth crazy amounts of money. He has a nude version, which he doesn't prefer. These some things to cool what t-shirt cover. I don't do Mad Balls. Definitely go. You know I'm the garbage pail man, brother. So let's segue into that, and then you never had Atom Bomb, dude? I have a PSA 8 that I bought not too long ago. But since you mentioned Garbage Pail Kids, and I won't do too long on this because not everybody's a Garbage Pail Kids fan, but I was hugely into them back in the 80s, and I got back into them a few years back. But I bought a non-complete set of the 5x7 cards, and they're in great shape. And there's 25 cards, and I think there's 39 overall in Series 1, so I'm still missing 14 cards. But I'll just go through them quickly. We have the big one, Nasty Nick, Junk Food John, They're like mint. Up Chuck. Fry Brian. Dead Ted, one of my faves. These are all Series 1. Art Apart. Stormy Heather. Unstitched Mitch. Alan Al. Weird Wendy. Mean Gene. I always use that on my Garbage Pail Kids reference videos. Cranky Frankie. So if you don't know, Swell Mel, the Series 1 cars are worth the most if you can get them in high grade. Drippy Dan. And all these are really great centering. There's another reason why I bought them. This one, not so much. Nervous Rex. Slobby Robbie, again, one of my favorites. The top 2 videos on my channel are GPK videos. Uzi Susie, which is wild to me. Boney Joni. New Wave Dave, again, one of my favorites. I remember sitting in my kitchen counter going through these. Frigid Bridget, and when I was a kid, I'm talking about. Mad Mike. We're almost done. Kim Kong. Wrinkly Randy. Slimy Sam. And Buggy Betty. So I'm missing 14, and Adam Bomb is one of them. So I got to find him. But he's an expensive one. I think he's like $100 in mint condition on the big cards. So I got to find him, and about 13 more. But yeah, I love GPK. I wish they do still do it, but it's not the same. I'll just leave it at that. It's not the same with the new cards, unfortunately. I will buy them every so often, but we got to get you one, brother. You can even buy, like, I have a mid-grade. I'm trying to sell my set that I have for a pretty penny, but they're all mid-grade, and you could find it for like $50. I still remember when I accidentally broke my Stretch Armstrong. It was a sad day. Yep, freestyle live stream, baby. Whatnot is really hit or miss. So I'm going to say this. You don't want to be selling keys on Whatnot, right? And my question to you as comic book collectors is this, is you wouldn't really, unless you're doing runs or you're searching for great covers that you like, great art, or if you want to complete a specific storyline that you loved as well, why are we buying some of those Whatnot books? Like I said, you can get a lot of great run filler on Whatnot for cheap, but you really have to, it's hard work sitting on the fucking stream all day looking for shit. It's not easy. So if I was going to do some type of Whatnot stream, they'd have to provide me with the books, and, you know, I'm not going to lie about what I'm selling. Let's put it that way. Vinny, what's going on? Robert Davis, how are you, man? Channel member. What's going on? Yes, I would love to see your original art. So it wasn't a video. It was a short that I did. I just showing my 2 pieces of original art that I have in my collection. And I had the book that it came out of, in the page, and who the artist was. Just a cool, like 60 or 40-second short. So I actually started picking them up, but if you flip through the book, it's like there's no real story. It's pretty bad. So what I did have at one point was they started putting comic book covers out from the original, with the original series cards on the front of the comic. I was buying those for the cover because I love everything original Garbage Book Kids, but I tried to get into the run, and to me it was just not. I could not get into the story because there basically was none. Oh, here we go. I would recommend putting Sticky Goose comics in your video titles. Well, if you watched my one-on-one with MJ Goose, I know you thought that my 14K Sticky Goose CBC News video was because it was in the title, but I told him that I promoted that video with money. So I threw $100 at that video, and I believe that's why I had 14K views on it. But maybe I'm wrong. Could be partially due to you, brother. But I appreciate you popping in for a minute. Dude, I bet $10 in packs trying to get an atom bomb. What are we talking about? Are you talking about back in the day, Darth? You bought $10 a packs and you never got an atom bomb? Clarify that for me, because they were 25 cents a pack, man, back in the day, and it was you could buy a whole box for $5 because I remember I would do the same thing. I would buy a whole box for $5 and I would go through them. I used to that's best part of my childhood, buying 25-cent Garbage Pail Kids and just a whole box. I wish I kept the boxes, but when you're so and so years old, what is I freaking 8 years old? Uh, so I imagine that you've seen the original movie and how awful it was, because I wanted to see some of the original GPK in that movie. I wanted to see Atom Bomb. I wanted to see Nasty Nick, and we didn't get any of those. We did get some cool, like Greaser Greg, I thought was cool. Stupid. The movie was horrible, but and the origin was even worse. That's what made the movie horrible. That they came out of the stupid, just terrible. But Messy Tessie was also one of my favorites, one of my favorite cards, and she was in the movie as well. But if you're a fan of GPK, you're a fan of the movie, regardless how bad it was. Same as Master of the Universe. I'm a huge Motu fan, and that movie was nothing like the freaking cartoon, nothing like the toys. Everybody looked different. So it has some 80s lore to it, but nothing, relatable to the actual movie or toys. So the huge cards can be graded by PSA because I've seen them out there and I've seen them graded. I actually thought about sending these in to be graded, but if I'm going to do that, I want to do the whole set. So I got to get the other 14 first. I have a American as Apple Pie GPK Blaster Box seal for trade. I got to see what year they came out and what's in the box, because again, I'm not really into the newer GPK. I'll buy them every once in a while. In fact, you know what? I have them sitting right here forever. I have some Series 2 GPKs loose if anybody wants them. They're all Series 2, which is cool. A whole freaking stack. I have them on eBay. But while I got you here, I don't know if I showed you guys this. I think I might have showed it on another live stream. So there's a guy out there who does his own cards. His name is Bastos Kids, and he did a punch out set. And he had a set, and I gave away the other set I had. But everybody, a punch out fan, there's Little Mac, and all of them are in here. Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, Piston Honda, Great Tiger, King Hippo, love King Hippo, Don Flamenco, one of my faves, Ball Bull, Soda Popinski, Mr. Sandman, Super Macho Man, and of course Tyson. But the best part is if you bought these packs from him, they were like one of one cards that could be found. This is a one of two that I got of Tyson. One of two, which is really cool. So hit him up. I don't know if he has any left. They might be sold out, but he does a good job. They're decent cards. There's nothing on the back. Just says Bastos Kids, and if it's a a exclusive card, it'll say one of one, one of two, whatever. But I do have some original Garbage Pail Kids. Oh no, I've showed these already. These are inappropriate Bastos Kids that he's put together. We'll do that another time. I found the brunt of my Crossroads titles on there and the Amalgam stuff. Lost my collection. I was deployed back in '93. Been an uphill battle. Ricky says he likes Whatnot for modern stuff. Oh wow, dude, that is like unfortunate that you spent $10, which is 2 boxes worth of stuff, and you couldn't find an Atom Bomb. That's crazy. I wouldn't put Sticky Goose in your comments. We don't watch for him. It's you, fam. Sticky needs to go get back with Tom. Hey, I love Tom Dell too, man. I actually so here's the thing. I shouldn't even mention this, but I reached out to Tom recently, and he hasn't even read the message because I'm sure he's got a million things going on. And I don't even know who the hell if he knows who I am, but obviously I do the hot 10 comics of the week breakdown. He does the hot 10 comics of the week also, better than mine. And the only difference between mine and his is I gave my opinion on the books, tell you guys if I would buy it at certain prices. He doesn't really do that, even though recently he started to kind of like put things in his title saying, don't buy this book or don't spend too much money on this book, which I think is smart on his end. But I would love, I reached out to him and I said, Tom, I know I cover the hot 10 breakdown as well, but I know you don't no longer do it with Gem Mint. I said, if you're ever looking for somebody to come on your show and do it with, because I know Jeff does it with him and Russ and Fire Guy Ryan, they all help him out on the show and be guests to do the hot 10 with him. So I said, listen, if you're ever looking for someone to come on and those guys can't do it, I would love to come on and do the hot 10 comics of the week with you. For the two guys that actually cover this list, I think it would be really cool for people to see us do it together and kind of mishmash what we do. We could do it on his channel too, but I don't think one, he knows who I am, but two, if he'd ever be interested in something like that. But I'd love to hear what your guys' take on that would be. Back in the day, we had no option to like go anywhere and just buy that one card unless you knew a friend who had it, who could trade for it. But everybody back then did not want to give up certain cards, right? Atom Bomb, certain people had certain ones. Like for me, like Greta Garbage was one of my favorites. So like I would never trade her if I got it. Valerie Vomit. There you go. Kenneth Bird, what's going on, brother? So 1985, I believe, was the first series. That's series one. And I have series two here. And there were multiple series. A lot of these don't have backs. Multiple series came out a year. So 85 was series two as well. So I think they started printing the cards that series one in 84, but they came out in 85. But again, the series one cards can be worth a lot of money if you find them in great shape. If they're not in great shape, they're not really worth too much. But yeah, 84, he says. I think they were printed in 84, but I'm not sure. I thought they came out in 85, but I could be wrong. He sent his OA picks over to me on YouTube, IG. Some of the matchmaking pages are a little out of order. Robert, do you mind if I share them on the stream? Because I could just shoot them over to my computer here, if that's up to you. Nah, I like Tom. You do a better job, bro. You're on your way. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Tom's great. He has more of a conversation about the books, which is great. He talks about all the prices. I only give you guys a couple prices, two prices. Sometimes there'll be three, and sometimes there'll only be one because I don't want to cover everyone. It gets redundant. It's got to be a fast list for me. I'll talk about the important stuff. Have you been following Mark Spears' sales? So why does that name sound familiar? Mark Spears. Refresh my memory on that because the name sounds familiar, but it's not coming to my mind. Wacky packs yes, 100%. Wacky packs were before GPK. They're also harder to find, I believe. But I'm not sure if they hold as much value as GPK. That you have to answer me. But that was before my time a little bit, Wacky packs. 85 was the pinnacle of like life, right? 1985, we had Back to the Future. We had GPK. There were so many great things at Nintendo, NES. So many great things, retro things came out in 1985 and I'm sure some horror stuff also, some great like horror stuff was in the 1985 timeframe as well. So I agree. It was the pinnacle of life. It's been kind of downhill since then. So Robert says I can share them. I like them too, but they were a tad before me. I really got into it with GPK. Let me see if I can get Robert's. Oh man, Robert, there's a lot of them here. Can I just download all of them? Oh wow. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to download these and then we'll share them since you're just BSing today. So I see one of them familiar because you won that on, I think, the member giveaway that I used to have. All right, so I'm not gonna show all of them because there's a lot here, dude. But let me just, you know what? I could show. That's what I could do. Give me 1 second. I have some pictures on here of my art that I just posted for the pictures of the books. So hang on, I'll add them all here, and then I'll show you all of them. Mark Spears is a comic artist who's a painter. He has an Alex Ross feel to him, but mostly in the horror genre. He is currently working on a book called, oh yeah, okay. So that I heard about the monsters that came out this week. It's all over some of these lists. So has anybody read the book? And is the book good? Is the story good? That's what I want to ask. The art looked really cool. Thank you, Ricky. I think that would be really cool too. So yeah, I saw that. I didn't know who it was, but I definitely saw it. So yeah, let me know how it is. So let me show you, share with you all this stuff that he sent me and some of the stuff that I was going to show you. All right. So this is the book that I just showed you guys, the Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 247 that I have for in my collection. It's page number 7, story page number 7, issue number 247, and art by Luke Ross. So to me, I don't know if you guys get that Eric Larson, Todd McFarlane vibe from Luke Ross, but I definitely did. I really enjoyed this piece when I picked it up, and I picked it up at Big Apple Con in New York last year. I did not go this year because I didn't want to spend any money, but really cool piece that I have in my collection. And you can see this is the comic that I bought today that it came out of. So this is some of Robert's stuff. He's got a plastered along his wall here. Let's see if we can get into it a little bit, and some other stuff that he sent me. That's a really cool cover. Tomb of Batman. Who is this by, Robert? Can you put it in the chat? Wow, Liefeld Batman and Joker. That is pretty freaking cool. This is also cool. Who drew this? Is this Liefeld as well? Dude. Let me know, dude. So Tomb of Batman is by Agnes's art. G. Best art. Nice Deadpool page. So this is the member giveaway winner that he won from me. I forget that Jeff Wildstar, I think, is the guy that drew this, but it was absolutely phenomenal. Awesome piece. And what makes it awesome to me is that the New York City in the background. I mean, that is what I call detail. The only thing better for me is if he inked this thing, it would have been freaking spectacular. And he says a majority of the stuff is Liefeld, which is crazy. Wow, look at that. Cable. That's really cool, dude. So here's the post I put up on Instagram. Wow, look at that, man. Oh, so these are what you bought, the sketches from what you bought. Wow. That's really cool. So more Liefeld. What was the name of this character? I remember that this didn't last too long, did it? Major something. But look at that, Magneto, Wolverine. Holy shit, dude. Look at you. Very cool. Very cool stuff, my man. Thanks for sharing it with us. Whoops. I'm back. Major X. That was the name of it. Major X. Either way, very cool stuff, man. Very, very cool stuff. All right. Let me get back to the chat here. I thought I had another picture of that other page that I have, but I guess I don't. And I definitely, oh, I have some more stuff. It didn't show everything. I don't know why it didn't show everything there. Hmm. Oh well. I thought I had the other page on here, but I don't. But let me show you some other things that I have in my. Oh, that's why it's opening up this fucking thing. There we go. All right. So I just put this up in my in one of my cases here. So two of my John Romita signed books, and they're both signed by Stanley and John Romita. So if you guys know on the right, ASM 39, one of my favorite um, covers, and of course left, one of my favorite books, ASM 50, signed by both of them. But behind it, I know you guys have probably heard me talk about this before, is that some guy on eBay put together of all the Spider-Man news clippings, everything that was published during that. Do you see how he has it labeled January 3rd, 1977 to January 3, 1978, or wherever it says? Yeah, so it's 1 year. January 3rd, 77 to January 1st, 1978. He took every published news strip and he put them together in this crazy binder. Dude, it is one of the coolest things that you will ever see from a Spider-Man collector. And he sold it for me under $500, which is nuts. And he wrote me a big email saying like how he spent so much time putting this together when this came out. He didn't do it like later on trying to find clippings. He did it as they were coming out. And it's a one of a kind item. Someone else might have all the clippings as well, but what he did and put them into this binder, and he put like this the picture on the front. It's wild. I did a video on this a long time ago. If you guys check that out, if you can find it in my freaking playlist, because it's awesome. One of the coolest things that I've ever bought. Robert says, yeah, the Spidey giveaway art is going on my son's wall. He's only 3, but Spidey is his favorite. That's awesome, dude. I'm happy for you. You got that. Can I post a link to my artwork on my new page? Yeah, man. Go ahead. Is it like a website page you're talking about? We can go through it and share it right now. I don't mind helping you guys out at all. I'd work with you to do custom work you can give away. Absolutely, my man. There you go. That's why I love you guys, man. Always thinking about other guys in the community. Father Son Vintage Cars Comics just left Clifton. Nice turnout. See, when I was there, and I was there right when they opened, there wasn't that many people there, and there weren't a lot of dealers there. So you tell me. I mean, I haven't been in a while. Is that how it's been for the past couple of years? I haven't been in quite a while. Jeffrey says that's some great stuff, Robert. So yeah, dude, these are the one on far behind me is a custom machine that I built honoring my late pet. He's got his face on it. You could see him right there in the middle. He's my best friend I ever had in my life. So I called it Boney's Arcade, but it plays like 20,000 games on it. It works. You could play, on a handheld controller. You could play joystick, 2-player. It's awesome. The one on the left, T2, I modded with something called the retro shooter, where it's all retro shooting games. There are some other, joystick games that you could play on it. I just got rid of that, and I just kept the gun games because that's what I think the cabinet's for. So yes, they work. The arcade, the one on the left is an arcade one-up that I took the guts out of it. He said he put the link up. Why don't I see it? Where did you put it up, brother? In the chat? Because it's not coming through. I see it says it worked with you to do some custom work and give away. And I said I put the link up. I don't see the other link. So if you could throw it up, I wonder if they're blocking it because of what it is. Can you DM me on Instagram? You on Instagram? And I could share it that way? Or email me because it's not showing up in the chat. Hello from Europe. Dan, what's going on? How are you? Says it's his first time, but it started to get crowded when I left. High Grade Comics, that's an amazing book. So that was the guy who had the Tech 31 that I saw there. 100%. He did had some crazy. He had the best books there by far. He says it's his new YouTube, but it's not appearing in the chat. So if you want to email me or DM me, I'll be on the lookout for it. But I haven't gotten it as of yet. 50K. I know, dude. I know. I have mine. Let me break it out. All right, so I brought 4 books over. We could take a look at them later, but you were going to sell me the channel for 18,000 subs? I don't know what that means. I reached out to you before, but decided to keep the channel a hold on IG now. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have bought a channel, but let me see if I could. All right, so I'm sending it over to my computer so I could share it with you guys. Oh, there's nothing inappropriate that I'm going to share here, right, brother? I'm assuming it's fine because it's on YouTube, right? They would have taken it out by now. All right, so here's my man's YouTube channel. You can check him right out. Let's play his it's 54 seconds, so let's check it out. Wow. I love me some Frank Miller. Very cool, my man. Very talented. Very nice. Guys, check him out. His name is Art on Comics on YouTube. Very cool. Triple G Comics. What's going on, my friend? How are you? I know, right? You never know who's following you is right. 100%, man. I mean, I personally have had a lot of growth over this past year, more so than any other year on my channel. So I'm thankful for that. So just keep going, keep doing your thing. Somebody will notice you eventually. That's how I look at it. But very cool stuff. Extremely talented. All right, so while I took them out, I might as well show you some of these big books, right? It's my Batman 1, if anybody's interested. It is restored, CBCS, which I know everybody hates, but I didn't mind these older labels, and I don't like the way the purple of CGC looks on some of these books. So I actually thought about, here's a Superman 1. So the cover and the back cover are reproduction, so don't get too excited. But check out the restoration on the book. It says, restoration includes pieces added, tear seals, reinforced. And obviously the cover and is a color copy. So, but I thought about having this book, the restoration taking out of it. I want to hear what you guys think. Should I do that? I know there's a guy on Instagram, Sanderson Studios, who's got a really good reputation. Oh Jesus, has a really good reputation. I just don't know how much something like this would actually cost to have done, but I definitely think it would boost the value of the book. Yes, I know it's still coverless, so it doesn't matter, but still think it might be worth it. So if anybody can give me an insight of what they think, um, your insight is always appreciated. This is one of my big boys, of course, one of my favorite books. Yes, you could see right here. There's a little wrong corner, right there. A little bit of a chip out, but no Marvel chipping. There's a little writing right by my finger here. Somebody's name that Stan signed over it. So very cool. And the book we were just talking about a little while ago, that the dude at the show had, is this one. So there's 100 copies roughly on the census, which includes restored books as well. The guy had a 0.5 blue label, non-restored. Did have a lot of spine wear on the book, but again, definitely worth purchasing that book. I think it's a little off at 50,000 because we just got that 4.0 sale on Heritage that sold for 175,000. So when I break down books, I break it down by grade. So 4.0 175, that means a 1.0 would sell for 45. A 1.0 should sell for 45 roughly. Now, with that said, it's a hard to find book. It's a hard to find book in blue label as well. So somebody can ask whatever the fuck they want. And that's, I'm sure, I bet he would take anywhere between a $40,000 and a $45,000 offer seriously. So, but that, just to see that book in the non-restored form, it's a rarity. And to see it at a small show as that show is, so that was cool. I got to hold it and talk to the guy for a little bit, but Jeff says he loves CBCS. I've been exclusive with them since 2022. The slabs are better. So 100%, these are older slabs, but I thought about sending them in to be recased as well and re-put in the new label, but the amount of money it would cost me in insurance is just stupid. So I said, forget it. It doesn't, just to get a new case, the book just sits here. It doesn't make sense. It's the case that I have is in good condition. Says 31 is his all-time grail. Cool to see him. Super jelly. Dude, I traded for that book. So it was dumb luck that I came across the guy that had it. And it's just all about timing. But it is what it is. Let me show you. Anybody have any questions they want to talk about, or anything related to comics? All for talking about stuff as well. I did want to show you one other thing. That I did pick up. Nothing to do with comics, but is that. I know I showed on MJ's stream, I showed the Mario Brothers, but I picked up a Metroid and I picked up a Zelda that I had graded as well. I do also have a Contra and a 7.0 that I'm trying to sell on eBay right now. There you go. So if anybody's interested, hit me up. Well, like I said, the 80s were the time of our lives, my friends. How do I get this off the screen now? There we go. All right. So let me tell you something, Darth. I've had so many people recommend a lot of indie books to me that I just cannot get into. And I'm talking a couple of years ago when I got back into reading a little bit. I was always been more of a collector ever since I was a kid, where I was kind of both then. You buy books to read them as a kid. You don't really buy them to collect, unless you were buying them for art. But I read, a lot of Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man. So I had a lot of those books. And I also read Batman. Never really Detective Comics, more just the Batman issues from the 1980s and early 1990s through the mid 90s. But after that, when I got back in around 2018, I had a bunch of friends who were a guy who I used to own a comic shop locally. He would always recommend indie books. So I'd pick them up and read them. And I just I could not get into them for the life of me. But if you know of something that you want me to check out, drop it down here. I'll definitely take a look at it. Dude, it took me forever to beat the original Zelda, dude. I had to use the map. I had to get friends to help me. I was never particularly good at some of those games. Like Mario Brothers games, no problem. But the Zelda games are always a little bit harder for me. Metroid, harder for me. Contra, not so much because you had that unlimited live shit that you could use. So I was able to beat that. Do you think if the new Fantastic Four movie is good and well received by the fans, that they will start up an upswing in comic values, especially with the X-Men and Secret Wars in the way? I already think that that's starting to. You'll see. The problem is that during the boom, all those X-Men books got stupid hot and they went for stupid amount of money. The storylines are there and the smaller keys are there to be had no matter what. But the bigger keys, I don't know if they're going to get a crazy amount of value. I think a lot of people who came into the hobby and drove the prices higher, they're gone and I don't think they're coming back. They've been burned and they're not coming back. So I don't think value wise, you get a few bumps here and there, but I think you'll start to see a lot more things pop up on these hot lists that you probably should stay away from. The time is now if you're going to buy stuff. Secret Wars, like if you watch my Hot 10 this week, there was a stupid sale at a 9.8. I still don't understand that sale. Almost 900 and change for a book at a 9.8 that's $500. So I don't know. Like personally, if you're an X-Men fan, buy the books because you want to buy the books. If you're a Spidey fan, buy the books because you want to books. Secret Wars, they were never terribly expensive. The biggest book was 8, right? That's the biggest book, and you can still get it a decent copy for $120. So I think there's just too many of them out there for them to really get boosts. The Claremont X-Men stuff is always going to be collectible, whether they go up, monetarily. I don't think it matters because they're not massive keys. The storyline is what you're buying. There's some smaller first appearances and stuff in there though. Dan says he follows authors, and that's part of it, right? Whether you follow artists, whether you follow authors, you like a certain writing style, you like a certain art style, like that's part of collecting as well. Ghosts and Goblins, was it? I love that game. Is that what you're talking about? Because there was a Ghouls and Ghosts, I think, as well. Ghosts and Goblins was one of the hardest games you'll ever find, and I could never beat that game. And I remember playing it in the arcade first, and then playing it on the NES, and it was just fucking impossible. But one of my favorites as well. Was going to ask to join the live show off the pit run, but having trouble finding it. Too many long and short boxes. I did find my Justice League box though. Very cool. There he is, Jason Omega Collects. What happened to you, dude? You used to do YouTube, but you stopped. Too many other things going on. Grommets is a good if you grew up in the early 80s. That at least I've heard of. Contra is awesome. This, again, one of my favorite games growing up. Is it Ghouls and Ghosts? Maybe I'm wrong. I know Ghosts and Goblins was the first one. That show, that thing, I was addicted on for a while in the arcade. There was a freaking a deli where my mom lived in New York, and I would go there, just hang out at the fucking deli, and they had that game there, and I just spend hours trying to play that game. Oh man, you could see how bored I am on a freaking Sunday, right? All of us. But yeah, I did have one other pickup, and members of the channel, the big members of the channel, they know what it is. It's only because I don't really want to talk about it, but I did have one other pickup this year. But other than that, is there anything out there that you guys are looking for right now that you think now may be a good time to pick up that book, this book here or there? I'd love to hear it because there's some really sick deals out there right now. Also, anybody who lives in my area going to King Con or the Elite Show that's going to be early next year, I plan to be at both of them. I may even be set up at one of them or both of them, depending on if they have a table for me, but I won't be selling books. I'll be doing like live YouTube stuff and maybe live IG stuff. Maybe interviewing some collectors that go to the show, show me what they got. Maybe get an artist or two if they have some time to talk to me. But like I said, I've been on this thing an hour already and I'm just killing time. I did get one of them. cards. GPK put out newer cards and the new sets. They're online exclusives, the tops, and they feel totally different than cards back in the day. Man, they're like plastic almost. See, I don't like that. Maybe it's just me. So Father Jeff says I have someone doing a Sunday live stream. I like having someone there used to be 6 to 8 channels I used to watch that did them. Unfortunately, they have gone away. It's tough, man. Like I said, during the year, I really don't do too many lives. I'd like to have somebody else on the show and just talk stuff, pay attention to the chat, answer questions, but I understand Sundays are not for everybody to come on and talk comics. So, but I do enjoy live streams if we're talking about things that I have interest in. If you're just talking about like nonsense, sometimes I have to tune out. So Father and Son Vintage Card says that yes, we're going to Elite Con. I will be there. I should be there. I've committed to be there. I'm just waiting to see what I'm going to be doing. So I don't know if I'm going to do something for Elite there or not, but I plan on going 100%. Yes, I saw him there too today. I didn't want to bother him. He was talking to someone, but I was in and out within like half hour. So Dan says he's trying to find a deal on Batman 181 and 359. So 359 all of a sudden starting to get a little hot again. And I don't, not that I don't know why, but like somebody asked me the question the other day through Instagram. How come I thought, why aren't DC Comics selling for more right now? And my answer was plain and simple, is that if you look at the Silver Age DC stuff, I mean, we have the Silver Age first appearances. We have keys like Batman 232, which is the first Ra's al Ghul. We have Tech 359, which is the first Barbara Gordon as Batman. Those are books to me I would buy, because if you're a DC fan, you're a Batman fan especially, like you want to own those books regardless, but we're going to see some Barbara Gordon, right? I don't know if we're going to get a Ra's al Ghul anytime soon because of the Nolan trilogy, but there's other, villains as well. We already got the Penguin that showed up. We already had the Riddler that showed up, even though it's a different Riddler. But those we had the Catwoman that showed up, the first Catwoman already. So in the Matt Reeves and stuff. So we'll see what happens when he gets to the James Gunn Batman and how that they conflict. But those books are never going to take flight like the Golden Age stuff is. So the 181 is a good one because it's a true first, right? Poison Ivy. Eventually, I think we'll get them in one of the two universes, probably the James Gunn universe, because a little bit more of a campy character than the Reeves universe. So that's my bet. But it's always a good book to have because it's a true first. So is 359. A lot of people will talk about Batwoman, different character. So says there was a what if title where the Thing was fighting the Hulk and Hulk changed to Banner when he would rage. That's how Thing ended him. What issue is that? I don't have a blessed clue, brother. I do know there's a Hulk issue, a very important Hulk issue that I talked about years ago, that it's where they first make mention of the anger is what triggers the Hulk to turn into the Hulk, Bruce Banner. That's always a key issue that people never talk about, but that is a huge thing. I'm going to look it up right now. What if Thing Hulk? See if I can find it. But I don't know. That's a tough one to find. There's a lot of what if Hulk books. I don't know the issue to that. I got to check it out though. Ricky, go to bed, brother. It's got to be like 3:00 by you now. So has the market scared any of you guys? And we only have 10 people in here, but has the market, with all the down, money, all the books going down in price still, has it scared any of you guys from buying books? Are most of you guys modern books collectors? You collect vintage? You collect keys? Are you mostly just buying your favorite author or artist? Because I'm just trying to get a feel more on the market. The market will never die. So the people out there saying that the comics are over, and there are people out there who say it's nonsense because that's never going to happen. I do think at a certain point that there were some kids there also in Clifton today, which I'm happy to see because I like seeing kids at comic shows, and comic shows, not like just like New York Comic Con where there's a million things going on. So Darth says it's a buyer's market, and Dan says he's buying right now. If there were things I was going to buy, I would say yes, I would definitely be buying right now. I don't know, not necessarily you want to buy the bigger stuff unless you plan on holding them forever. But like there are certain like I said it on that one of my videos that I did that the classic covers right now seem to be the hottest thing going. One of my recap videos that I went a year later is just still undervalued. Like so many books that were on that list that were holding up pretty well or have gone up a little bit are classic covers. And I thought about that and I said to myself, why? Oh, there you go. 10-year-old making deals today. That's what I want to see, baby. Did he buy anything? What did he buy? If you don't mind sharing. I agree. There is a lot in there's a lot of money in the hobby. Dan says he upgraded his Turtles 3. Turtles 1, third print. Dan says he collects the most rare modern, so prices don't really affect my type of hunter. We're just happy to find them when they pop up. Darth says all he needs is a 181, then his grails are complete, and I can retire from chasing grails. So let me tell you something, Darth. It never ends, brother. I don't care what anybody says. I said the same shit when I had all my Marvel keys done. It's so hard to stop. It's like a fucking addiction, man. It really is. You may think that you're done, and then they're going to pull you back in, just like The Godfather. But it's. But I'm glad to see you have a goal of getting something. Being that we're right at the end of this year, 2024. Is there any 2025 goals anybody wants to share right now? Um, I don't really have mine set yet. There's nothing really I'm looking for, but I think it's always good to have a goal at the beginning of the year. Keep yourself grounded a little bit. He says he loves Shazam, so he bought 4 from High Grade Comics for his run. Very cool. Congratulations to him, man. Did he watch the movies? Did he enjoy the movies? My friend and I were talking about how this hobby is never done. There's always something. I agree. Because even if you have an attachment to a character, even if you stop collecting comics, there's so many other things relating to that character that you could still buy. That's the good part of not just collecting in general, but comic collecting if it's related to comics. You guys know I'm a Motu collector. I don't necessarily buy Motu comics because I even tried reading some of the modern Motu and I can't get into it. It's nothing like what I grew up with, and that's part of the problem. Anyone who's collecting or reading Motu is going to be someone who grew up during the 1980s. There's no kids that are growing up now that know anything about Motu for the most part. So I would think whoever's writing that needs to stick to that formula for it to be successful. I collect a lot of different titles, mostly from nostalgia. Personally, I collect for the stories, but not just the mainstream characters. What the crossovers, What If, Jurassic League, Spider-Ham, etc. Cool. I went from buying everything to slowing down and having goals, completing Tales from the Crypt run. Oh, that's cool. ASM up to 100, signed by Stan Lee, and any Firefighter Golden Age covers like Showcase 1, for example. Wow. That is cool. So those are some good books, man. Very good. Dan says 2025, hope to find a G.I. Joe Cobra 19 rock poster, 1 in 10 RI. Wow. Very cool. 2025 goals, sell all the stuff I've been hoarding for the last 40 years and free up cash for bigger books like ASM1. It's tough, man. I hear you. It's a process, especially if you have a lot of books. I realized like 3 or 4 years ago that I needed to slow down and start dwindling what I have because it becomes too much. I see a lot of guys out there now who have a lot of stuff and I don't know how they do it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It helps definitely to slow that's a good point. It helps to slow down, but scratch the itch from time to time. That's why I kinda went to the show today, and I bought that one book was $1 and the other one was $20. I thought it was cool. I don't wanna spend a ton of money anymore. I think I'm pretty heavily invested as it is in comics. So, um, that's it. Um, that's it, guys. It's almost I'm probably gonna end this thing soon because we came in on here, we're talking for like an hour and 20, hour and 15. George says he knows he wants to sell everything and just keep my keys. That's how it is, man. That's why people like they get offended, and I've had people get offended with me because they'll ask me like certain things about certain stories that I have no idea, and they get mad at me because I don't know it because but that's not never been my thing. Like, yes, I enjoyed reading growing up as a kid, but as you get an adult, like I read occasionally. I can't read all the time because I just don't have the time. But the non keys, they become almost I don't want to say worthless, but nobody is looking for them. The only way to get rid of them is to sell them to like a dealer who wants to blow them out at a cheap price, right? Or somebody who has a store that can unload them quickly. And unfortunately, the time we're in right now, the stores have become few and far between. So now if you collect because you're reading them, doesn't matter. Like you've got your enjoyment out of them, you had them, you can dump them from whatever. But if you collect them just to collect them, it becomes like, oh wow, I spent all this money on this stuff that I can't get rid of it. And you're right. There's no I don't want to say that they're worthless, but if you got enjoyment out of them for some point of your life, they have some worth to them, or at least they did. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's worthless, monetarily. So I don't know, but slow down. That's the model for 2025. Any of you buy books off of Instagram still? I've covered a lot of videos regarding Instagram, and I mentioned it in my video with Swaggle. We talked about the elephant in the room. Now, at one point, Instagram became like the savior for comics, where collectors could go and find good deals, good prices, mostly any book that you can want. I've kind of flipped my switch a little bit recently in the past 6 months. And I don't know if it's because everybody and their grandmother is now selling comic books on Instagram, but it's gotten to a point where everybody is kind of driving down prices on books because there's too much available. It's too much availability. There are too many live shows. There are too many consignment pages, right? And it's got me thinking that, Instagram kind of brought all these books to the forefront where we didn't have to go to cons anymore. We can buy them from our homes. We didn't have to go to, our LCS anymore because we can just buy them straight from my couch. And I don't want to be the guy to say this because I do think I love Instagram. It's my favorite place to buy books outside of my LCS. My LCS is my favorite spot because I have a good one. But I'm going to say to you guys this is that when you're seeing the same dealer show up every week on a live sale, it becomes redundant. It doesn't make me want to click on the live sale. It's nice to see newer people show up. Absolutely. Oh, let's see what somebody else has. But we're being offered the same stuff all the time now. So it's gotten a little redundant. Let me know what your thoughts on. Am I the only one who thinks that? Maybe nobody on the chat buys books off of Instagram. I don't know. Marvel Legends 100% have become worthless. My stepson collects them, and all of a sudden you could find them for stupid cheap. They just came out with too many versions of every character. I enjoy the people who say they'll never sell their books, and I respect that. But I wouldn't want to leave my family with 12,000 books if I die unexpectedly. Yeah, I get it. At the end of the day, what does your family care? Because they're gonna just here take them off here, and somebody will get like a lucky deal, right? If you wanted your family to sell them for top dollar, that's where it becomes stressful for them. But everybody's family is different. There are some people who are just going to say, get rid of this shit and get it out of here. And there are some who's going to take the time to say, what is this worth? Dan says, being in Europe, it's horrible to buy from IG. I'm not doing it anymore. I understand that. Overseas is definitely tough buying anything right now. from the United States, and I hate to say it, but it's going to get worse. Under $100 monthly in books, and that took a lot. That's pretty good. It also depends what you're collecting though, right? If you're trying to get key books, that's really tough. If you're trying to just buy like variant covers and beautiful covers, definitely doable. If you're just trying to buy books you're going to read, 100% possible because you can get some great deals on some great stuff that's coming out now. Only bought a handful on IG, been mostly Whatnot and eBay. How is the Whatnot? eBay's always been good for overseas because I'm very familiar with the eBay overseas program. But Whatnot, how are they with overseas stuff? All right, so this is a great question. I follow almost everybody, so I'm going to give you the people that I've had experienced collecting and buying stuff from. Okay, obviously, Elite Comics 11 is the biggest IG seller there is. Uh, they are 100% money back guarantee. I've never had an issue selling or buying from them. I've used them to buy books. Diamond Comic Club, I've used them to sell books. I've used them to buy books. Most of these consignment pages, though, they're for keys. They're not for their smaller books. Um, Another one is Ali Collectibles. Again, a guy who's sold a ton of stuff, purchased from. I have tried to sell something with him, but it didn't sell. But again, never had an issue with him at all. There's a lot of great smaller dealers. John over at Newsstand Collector, he does live sales with some of the two of my favorite dealers. And the reason why they're two of my favorite dealers is one, because their prices are fair. One, because they grade their books properly. And to me, that is a big deal. I want to be comfortable buying books, knowing I'm getting what I'm getting. So, and that is Dustin Lineback and Jordy over at Marvel Comics. Through Newsstand Collector, I always pay attention to his live sales as well. But again, these are mostly key issue stuff. If you're looking for modern stuff, I'm going to say I don't know because I don't really track that too much. So I would say go check out Whatnot, see if you can find a deal on something. Hit up if you have shows in your area and you can get cheap books, I would say them. Brixco Comics is another guy I purchased books from. He used to do shows with Newsstand Collector. Now he does them with Elite Collectibles, Comics 11. So, but again, those are mostly key issues. What is Instagram shops? So you mean like a shop that you purchase something off of Instagram from? Not an actual account, but like an actual like a store. Because I've bought stuff via Instagram before, and it's usually I'm not happy with my purchase. So let me know what you're referring to here. Where would you suggest looking for old Secret Wars Superpowers action figures? So you ready for this one? My LCS had a bunch of them for sale, Zap Comics. They got a huge collection in at one point of Superpowers and the old Secret Wars. Um, a lot of people are looking for them now because the newer ones just came out. The Secret Wars have been out from McFarlane, but the new Secret Wars ones just came out from Marvel and I think they're Hasbro. They're really cool. I really enjoy them, and they could be found for I think $20 each. The older ones, it's really hit or miss. Zap Comics, if you want to hit them up, I don't know if they have any left. You can always DM them on Instagram saying, "Hey, do you have any of those, Marvel Superpower ones that you got in the collection left?" And they may send you a picture of what they have. Some of them they're all in the cases already. I don't think they're graded, but they're in the cases, which is nice. Outside of that, just eBay. There were a couple of guys who did some Facebook live shows and a couple of guys who were on Elite Collectibles 11, the sister page to Elite Comics 11, that had them, but they get pretty pricey. Fair prices and accurate grading is important to me too. Thanks. I'll check out those accounts. It's a link on your profile that has a catalog of your books. I've been building mine, but can it be a hassle with the background administration? I have never used that before. I didn't even know that was a freaking option. I'm old school when it comes to cataloging. I use an Excel sheet. So Superpowers, dude, I've wanted to get back into collecting those as well because I had them all when I was a kid. Same with the Secret Wars, but it gets to be too expensive, man. And I run out of room. I wanted to do the new Marvel Secret Wars because the first wave was really cool. Wolverine, um, what's the freaking dude called? Just Captain America, it's Iron Man, but the other one, the Beyonder, they look really good. I wanted to collect those, but it just I don't have room and I don't want to spend any money. Yeah, I know what you mean. The older ones are harder to find. Zap Comics, if they have any left, reach out to them. I don't know if they do. They've had them for a while. I know at one point they had a Wolverine one and a Superman DC superpowers. So I'm not sure if they have any left. You can sell right to the insert on it directly, but can't see my own shop. I need feedback. Let me see if I know what you're talking about. If I could go to your profile real quick. All right, I found you here. I'm not following you, so I'm going to follow you. So I hit the shop button and I see it. Do you want me to, can I put it on? Can I put it on screen? I will. Let me know. So I'll get the Joker figure in a second. So these are, I forgot the name of them. Let me see if the name's on it, the Joker. I have a bunch of them. All right. So this is Spirit Comics. So you could see what you're looking at. If you click shop, it brings you to his shop and his books. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know you could do this. But just so you know, this is what it looks like. Yeah, there you go. You see the shop button? You click the shop. There you go. You click the shop button. Okay, it keeps my thing, camera's auto focusing, but you get the drift. You hit the shop button, and that's where it is. So I've showed these before on the channel. They're called like, I want to say Hallmark. Is it Hallmark? Who does these? I can't even read this, dude. I got two of them, but I've had these as a kid. No, it just says DC Comics. I forgot what they're called. I did a video on it. So if you search back for toys or whatever, I'm not sure where I put this, but in the late 80s, early 1990s, there was a company, I thought it was Hallmark, but it's not Hallmark. It might start with another H. They came out with all these certain ones. It's like there was a Batman, the Superman. There's Marvel had theirs. It was Spider-Man, Hulk. The Hulk is the most expensive one you're going to find because it's huge, and I've always wanted it, but I don't want to spend the money on it. I got this for $20 at Zap Comics. They had a bunch of them. They had a Batman, a Superman, a Wonder Woman. I bought the Batman, Superman, and gave them away to a couple of buddies of mine as a gift. And I've had this Spider-Man ever since I was a kid. I remember the day that my dad got this for me. We were in the comic shop together. I'm trying to read the name and I can't remember. If anybody remembers what the name of these are, drop it in the thing, but I don't remember. But it's really cool. They're in really great shape. Had the one since I was a kid, and the other one, like I said, I found at Zap Comics. No problem, brother. Yeah, they're really cool. No, this is definitely not Hasbro. I want to say it's not Hallmark. It's something else. Now I gotta fucking you guys gotta make me find it because I lose my mind now. I want to say it starts with an H. I'm gonna go to my playlist. Give me a second. I'm looking for it. Forget it. Toy reviews. I'll never fucking find this thing. If you have the time, try to. I did a video on it. I don't remember what the hell it's under. Maybe it's toy collecting. No. Forget it. I'll never find it. Let me just go to eBay real quick. It's not Hallmark. It's something else. It's not Hallmark. It's something else. Starts with an H. They do like Wizard of Oz stuff too. They do like they have 3 it's not Hasbro. They have like there's Wizard of Oz, there's they do like 3 Stooges. They have all like classic figurines like this, and they're cheap, and they all come with this white stand. I forget the name of this thing. Fuck. Oh well. I know you guys can find it. They're not hard to find. Speaking of Secret Wars, this is my OG Spider-Man from back in the day. That's a little worse for wear. The black suited Spider-Man was always my favorite by far. But I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna bag it for today. But thank you for spending some time with me. It's been an hour and a half just hanging out. Just wanted to come on. I'm bored out of my mind. It takes my mind off of the stupid fucking Jets who are garbage. But that's it. So again, like I'm always looking for input for the channel. If you guys have anything that you want to see, let me know. Drop comments in the videos. Like I said, I put out a post about doing some modern stuff. If you guys are interested, we'll see how that goes. I may take somebody's advice and just take like a top 3 selling thing if I could find one from my LCS, if they want to give me that info or not. But we'll see what happens, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, for an hour and a half, and I will see you guys soon. Have a great Sunday, and as always, happy collecting. Welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review.